my name is Abhishek and welcome back to MBBS Treasure channel. Today we are going to read about type 3 hypersensitivity reaction, that is otherwise known as immunocomplex reaction. Till now we have discussed about type 1 hypersensitivity and type 2 hypersensitivity. If you haven't watched yet, then please go to my pathophysiology playlist and there you will find this type 1 and type 2 hypersensitivity reaction. So without wasting time, let's begin our today's topic. So friends, today we are going to read about the type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. And first we are going to differentiate between type 2 and type 3 hypersensitivity reaction, and then after I will say the three major processes through which these hypersensitivity reactions are occurring. Like the first process is the immunoreactions, second process is the pathochemical changes or the chemicals that are produced during the process, and third the pathophysiological changes, and in which the clinical manifestations or symptoms are seen. So first we are going to talk about what are the differential characteristics through which we can differentiate between type 2 and type 3 hypersensitivity. So in my previous video I have already explained what is type 2, and from that I want to mainly specify some terms through which we can differentiate between type 2 and type 3. Like first one is the antigen. In type 2, the antigen was present over the surface of cell membrane that were fixed to a organ, means the cells were fixed to a tissue and tissue consists of organs. It means the hypersensitivity type 2 was occurring only tissue specific or organ specific. It means it is localized at a certain position or place of our body. But in this condition, type 3, the antigens are freely found in our bloodstream, and as they are freely found in the bloodstream, so the localization of the damage formed in this type of hypersensitivity can be both. It can be localized condition and it also can be systemic or generalized, means the damage can be in different parts of our body, because the blood is circulating throughout all parts of our body. Okay, so this is the only thing through which we can differentiate between type 2 and type 3. And in similarity, what they do have? They have the same antibody, means they will be having the same antigen and antibody interaction, and the same antibodies like IgG and IgM are produced. Most commonly the IgG are help or they induce this type of hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, so this was the differential characteristics through which we can differentiate between type 2 and type 3. So now we know the differential characteristics through which we can differentiate between type 2 and type 3 hypersensitivity reactions. Now let's talk about its actual mechanisms and what are its actual causes. Forget this hypersensitivity reaction. First I want to show you, or first I want to explain the normal mechanisms that are happening in our body. When there is a presence of soluble antigen in our body, like it can be exogenous antigens or endogenous antigens. In this case, it can be exogenous and endogenous antigens. Exogenous antigens here are those proteins or the peptides or any microbiomolecules that will be produced by any kind of microorganisms or the pathogens entering in our body. So if any pathogen is entering and due to their interactions with some cells they are producing some kinds of proteins or biomolecules into the bloodstream, then they can act as an antigen. And in endogenous can be anything, like it can be our DNA, it can be our protein molecules, it can be like nucleotide molecules. So any internal biomolecules will be acting as an endogenous antigens. Okay, so when the antigens are normally present in our body, the antibody freely moving in the blood serum or the vessels, they will recognize that the antigen is present, and then they will try to bind with that antigen and forming a complex that is known as antigen antibody complex. And as the antigen antibody complex will be circulating throughout the body, that is the reason why they will be called as circulating immunocomplex, or that CIC. So here the immunocomplex means the antigen antibody complex that will be formed in the blood serum. Okay, and what are the features of those antigen antibody complex? Yes, they are soluble and they will be very small, or they will be proper, they will be in a proper size through which they can be easily phagocyzed. So the antigen antibody complex or the immunocomplex that will be formed, they can be easily phagocyzed in a normal condition or a normal healthy person. So they will be phagocyzed by certain cells that are present in the blood vessels. Like there will be activations of these complement fragments, or they can be phagocyzed by the macrophages, and those process of clearance or eliminating the antigen antibody complex normally or in a healthy condition, then we will be calling that process of elimination as clearance mechanism. Okay, so this whole process of formation of immunocomplex is normal in our body, and the process of clearance is normal in our body in a healthy person. So now let's talk about the situation through which this hypersensitivity is actually occurring. What is the cause of this hypersensitivity reaction, and what is the mechanisms, or what are the three immunological processes that are occurring in these reactions? Okay, so first of all, this complex or this immunocomplex type of hypersensitivity occurs when there will be change in the property of this immune complex. Previously I said that this property of immune complex was it was soluble and it was small in size. It means when it was in a condition of adequate size for the phagocytic cells, then it was easy for the phagocytic cells to catch them and then to phagocyze them. But when the properties relating with its solubility and its size will change, then the immune complex will pose a problem for these kinds of phagocytic cells. So that is the reason why this immunocomplex is creating this kind of problem in this hypersensitivity reactions. So what is that cause, or what is that change in property in the immune complex that stimulates this kind of reaction? First, this cause. What is that cause? Due to the genetic predisposition or hereditary predisposition to the immunological reaction, insufficiency to provide the immunologic reactions of our body or the person's body in which this hypersensitivity is occurring, and it may be acquired or genetic problem with clearance mechanisms. As I discussed before, this clearance mechanisms helps through the clearance or the elimination of this antigen antibody complex normally from our body. If there will be any kind of problem relating with this clearance, then the antigen antibody complex or this immunocomplex will not be cleared or not be phagocyzed, then they will be persisting in our blood vessels, and if they are going to persist for a long period of time, then they are going to develop the chronic inflammatory diseases in our body. So the result of the hyper type or type 3 hypersensitivity is going to be the chronic disorder of the immunological system. So what happens when there will be change in the property of immune complex, like when there will be change in the size and change in the solubility, then they are going to pose problem for this clearance mechanisms. And when there will be disturbance in antigen antibody ratio, it means when there will be increasing in the production of antibody due to these kinds of hypersensitivity reaction. And hypersensitivity reaction means it's a disorder in the immunological reactions, and it means that there will be increasing in production of amount of antibodies. So the ratio of antigen antibody will be disturbed, so that can also cause this hypersensitivity reaction. So these are the causes through which there will be change in the property of immune complex, and the properties that will be changing that is size and its solubility. So what will be the change, what will be the result to this change? Yes, according to the change, it can be increasing in the size. Previously it was small in size, the antigen antibody complex or the immunocomplex was small in size, but here after this condition it may increase in size. Next, it can be insoluble. Previously it was soluble and small and easy for phagocytosis process, but now it has become increasing in size and insoluble. That means it will compete for its existence. It will not be anymore phagocytized by the normal process of phagocytosis. So our body needs extra mechanisms to clear these kinds of antigen antibody complex that are circulating in our whole body. That is the reason why it is known as generalized or systemic. So this is the cause and this is the change in property that we are going to see in type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Now we are going to read, or now I am going to describe the actual mechanism through which this type 3 hypersensitivity reaction is occurring. It occurs in three mechanism process, that is it occurs in three stages. That is, first stage is immunoreaction, second stage is pathochemical changes, and third is pathophysiological changes. First comes the immunological reactions. I am going to describe the whole mechanisms through this diagram. Okay, so concentrate on this diagram and see the points that I am going to describe. First, the attaining of certain size makes them insoluble. When there will be change in size and insoluble of the CIC complex, then they cannot be phagocytized normally by these phagocytic cells. What will happen? They will try to precipitate out from the serum. As they are not soluble, then they are going to precipitate out. And where they will precipitate? If they are coming out from the serum, and serum is present in our blood vessels, then they are going to precipitate in the blood endothelial linings. So this is the diagram of a blood vessels. This is the flowing blood and these are the endothelial cells present. Okay, and under the endothelial cells there are basement membrane, and attaching to the basement membranes are the nearby cells or tissues. What happens in a normal condition? When there will be presence of this soluble antigens, then they are going to bind with the antibodies that are freely moving in the blood serum. What will happen? This antibody will bind with this antigen to form the antigen antibody complex. But in case of hypersensitivity condition, this antibody will be produced in more number, due to which the ratio will be disturbed, and due to that ratio disturbance, what will happen? More number of antigen antibody will be forming and it will be insoluble and it will be forming a large structure, and that large structure, due to that formation of large structure, it cannot be normally phagocytized by these phagocytic cells. They will be needing some extra mechanisms through which for its clearance. Okay, so what will be the next process? The next process will be, as they are insoluble, they will be precipitating. They will be slowly sedimenting over the surfaces of these endothelial cells or the endothelial lining of the blood vessels. Now the next process occurs, that after the CIC depositing in the body, what happens? Binding of Fc fragment to receptors in the complement C1 and phagocytic cells. This is the antigen antibody complex. Here it is antigen and here it is antibody complex. And as we know that antibody has this FAB fragment that is already attached with this antigen, and the antibody also has this Fc fragment. The red mark I have done, it is Fc fragment, and in opposite to the Fc fragment, the cells like the complement cells or complement proteins or other phagocytic cells that are present in the blood serum have the receptors, that is Fc receptors on its membrane, and to respond to attach with that antigen antibody complex. So next process is that the antigen antibody complex will stimulate the process of attachment with the C1 and the other phagocytic cells. C1 is nothing but the complement fragments. So next what will happen, as in previous they were normally coming to the antigen antibody complex and completely phagocyting the complex and destroying them, but in this condition they cannot completely phagocyte them or they cannot engulf them properly. So what will they do? They are going to activate certain cascades of reactions, like there will be activations of classical pathway of complement system, and the cytotoxic cells that are present in the blood vessels like the neutrophils, leukocytes, macrophages, they are going to produce some kinds of mediators that is going to destroy this antigen antibody complex. Okay, so the next process is their activation and production of the mediators. So till now whatever we have discussed is nothing but the immunological reactions. Next comes the stage 2, that is pathochemical changes. In pathochemical changes there will be releasing of the mediators. So what are the mediators that are actually produced in this? If there will be classical activation of the classical complement factors, then it's going to activate C2, then C3, C4, C5. Then cleavage process will take place from C1, C2, then C3, C4 and C5. From this C3, after the cleavage process there will be release of this C3b, and there can be C3a and C5a. So this C3b will act as an opsonin. In my previous video of type 2 reaction, this C3b was the opsonin fragment or the opsonin protein that was depositing over the surfaces of the cell membrane and completing the phagocytic process. So here also that C3b will be also activated, and the C3a and C5a elements of the complement will also be formed, that is going to increase the inflammations because they are nothing but they are anaphylatoxin, that is going to stimulate the process of anaphylaxis. Next, if the complement system will be fully activated, then they are going to produce this membrane attack complex, and as this we have also discussed that membrane attack complex is nothing but it's a group of proteins of this complement, that is C5b, C6, C7, C8 and C9 in a round manner. So this complement will be attaching over the surface of the membrane. Other cells like neutrophils and leukocytes or other phagocytic cells are going to produce some kinds of lysosomes or intracellular products like tissue necrotizing factors. Ultimately, they are going to destroy this antigen antibody complex. So, as there will be increasing in the release of these mediators. So what will happen next? These mediators will also affect the cells that are lining in the blood vessels. So the endothelial cells that are present is going to be destructed because of these kinds of mediators action, and the destruction of blood endothelial membrane and exposure of the basement membrane. As this destruction will takes place, then the basement membrane will be also exposed. How the destruction by MAC takes place? MAC produces or releases these kinds of chemicals that is known as perforin, that is going to perforate or make a hole on this basement vessel lining. Then through this whole process they are going to destroy the lining of the blood vessels. Next process is there will be affects the underlying tissues. It means when the basement membrane will be exposed, they will be certainly coming in contact with the mediators, and as the mediators are highly toxic, they are going to destroy this basement membrane also, and below or beneath this basement membrane they have the cells of the tissues of the organs. So the next process is that it is going to affect the underlying tissues. So the next question comes that this CIC is getting deposited, where it is getting deposited in the body, and what are the effects it's causing. So that depositing in the body and its effects are coming under the pathophysiological changes. Okay, so now we are going to read about the pathophysiological changes. So there is deposition of the circulating immunocomplex takes place at certain places in the blood vessels, like where there will be intensive blood flow and where it will be turbulent bloodstream. It means when there are small branches coming out from the bloodstream, then what will happen, as due to the flow it will be moving in this direction, but this direction, this part here, the immunocomplex may get deposited, and this whole mechanisms can occur where the organ is highly supplied with blood vessels. It means it is intensive and when there will be turbulent bloodstream. This CIC mostly deposits in the valves of the heart, in the glomerulus of kidney, in our joints, these small vessels branching from the main arteries forming the arterioles, and this, due to these depositions, we are going to see these kinds of changes or this destruction of the damages of the cells. Okay, so if there will be this deposition of the immunocomplex, then we are going to see certain kind of changes. What are these changes? That it is going to damage the tissue or the cell on which it is getting deposited. So the damage has been divided according to two types. It can be local damage or local changes, and as the blood is flowing, circulating throughout the body, and as this hypersensitivity is systemic or generalized, so it can be systemic or generalized type of damage. Local change, it can damage the cell, like in this case the basal lamina along with the basement membrane or the endothelial cells are damaged, so there will be cell damage. And in response to cell damage, as there are production of the C3a and C5a component of the complement, they are trying to increase the process of inflammation, so they will be forming the process of inflammations. There can be like swelling, redness, itchiness along this region. So these are the damages at the local place, or it is limited to the area where the CIC is going to deposit. Next, as the CIC is going to circulate all over the body in our circulatory system, then it will be causing this systemic and generalized damage. What are these? It can be multiple sites damage. It can be autoimmune disorders like the systemic lupus erythematosus and disseminated intravascular clotting, and it can also be pancytopenia, decreasing in the number of cells, blood cells. Okay, so this what are the diseases that are coming under this type of hypersensitivity? If there will be deposition of CIC in the valves of heart, then we are going to see the inflammation of the valves, and then we are going to call it as valvulitis. Similarly, in glomerulus of kidney, it can be glomerulonephritis, and in joints it can be arthritis, and this arthritis will be chronic inflammatory reactions causing maybe rheumatoid arthritis. It can also accumulate in the small vessels or arterioles, leading to allergic anxieties. Then systematic lupus erythematosus, as I say, it can also lead to the autoimmune disorder circulating systemically or in a generalized condition, and the autoimmune diseases other like the dermatosis like the scleroderma or dermatoscleroma. So this is the complete mechanism of type 3 hypersensitivity, in which we first differentiated between type 2 and type 3, and then we understood what are the mechanisms through which it occurs the reactions. So if this video was helpful to you, please share with your friends, and if you have any doubt, please comment in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching my video.